Look who's here.
How are
What's
you,
up,
dear?
Shireen? How you doing?
I am blessed. Thanks for asking.
What's going on with your internet, with your reception?
Oh, is my reception bad? Gosh darn it.
No, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Okay, good. Good.
All
My
right. I'm
goodness.
super excited to have you on board. Thanks for coming in.
No, I really appreciate it. Sorry for the delay. Little business meeting that prolonged.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, your meetings are usually last longer than anticipated or expected. I remember our first meeting was supposed to be like 45 minutes or an hour. I think it was like almost 3 hours long.
I know, but that's how great our lives are.
But it was such a like I tell you, it was fascinating to meet you and listen to your story. I mean, your story is remarkable. I mean, at so many different levels, personal and business, and that's why I wanted to get you on board, on this podcast, and really, if you don't mind, kind of share what with the audience, your story, your journey as someone that came to this country and got married and running a successful real estate business right now, a team. I mean, you're an inspiration. So kind of share, your past and your present and the future as well.
Oh my goodness, that's exciting. So, okay, everybody. So, my goodness. So, I am just an optimist. I'm always an optimist. But I came out here. I was born in Jordan. Came out here to the state since I was 2 years old. Have a family of 12, 6 boys, 6 girls in our family. So huge family. Um, my goodness, it was tough growing up. I'll tell you that. Very, very tough growing up. Everybody was it was survival of the fittest, everybody to their own. So I learned early on that I had to hustle. It was the hustle and the grit. My dad had to get into the trucking business, so I didn't really see my dad much. My stepmom did her best to try to take care of us. I mean, it was a blended family. It was kind of a little difficult on that end. But as of like I would say 8 years old is when I learned the concept of money. Whereas I like, hey, I actually 5. So I was a hustler from the beginning. Kindergarten, I used to draw pictures and I used to sell them for 5 cents each. And then going into 8 years old to 10 years old, I was selling chocolates door to door. And I just learned like, hey, how you have to hustle and the grit that you had to do to make money and save money. When I got married, my first one, it was a arranged marriage, didn't work out. Was a single mom of 2 kids. With him.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
I jumped.
Wait a minute. Arranged marriage?
Yes, yes. Oh
Hold
my,
on a second. We're like in 2021. I mean,
right. It's like unheard of, and it's crazy because so my family, it was really cultural based. It was really weird. I was more so like the unwanted child. And my green card expired at 18. So for me, my only way to try to I graduated with a 4.8 GPA, super smart, but I couldn't do anything without citizenship. So I was all like, my life's my what am I going to do with my life? So they out there in Jordan, they paid dowry. So I was like, okay, in my 18, 19-year-old mind, I was like, I'll go over there. I'll get the dowry, move back to the state. I have my paperwork and I will get my education on, go to a different state and live my life the way I want.
so
Ended up
you
going over there.
so you went to Jordan, right? Did
I
you go
went
there?
to Jordan.
Did you go there to visit your family? Was that really the plan, or I mean, like you said, they pay dowry. Like what exactly that is that?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So this is gonna end up being a long podcast. But so when I went over there, it was more so my stepmom wanted me to marry her nephew. And that way I could bring him over to the state. If I have my paperwork, then I could bring him to the state, bring a little bit more of her family over here to the state. And for me, I was all like, marriage isn't in my picture as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. But I needed my papers. So when I went over there, I was already pre-engaged to this guy. So or already promised to this guy. went over there, 10 years older than me, big guy. And I'm this like this scrawny little small 18-year-old, doesn't have a clue of what's going on. And I'm all like, is this my life? Is this what's gonna happen to me? Is this where my future? And I was like, no, I'm gonna surpass this. This is just another obstacle. Growing up, there's just a million obstacles that were in my way from even me graduating. My goal, I know high schoolers usually their goal is like, man, they just want to party and have fun and just live it up. My goal in high school is just let me graduate, because it was so hard for me to even graduate or put myself in that door, in that position to graduate, because there's so many obstacles stopping me from graduating. And it wasn't because of my smarts, more so family. Nobody wanted me be better than others in the family, so they try to stop that from occurring. So my whole goal was I need to graduate from high school and be the best version of me that I can possibly become. So after I surpassed that goal, my next thing was like, now I don't have papers. So getting married was like, okay, I need to go over there. I already had my passport. I already had my paperwork done. So I was like, yes, I get to go over there, take that money, go out to a different state, but obviously different culture, different aspects. And over there, you can't just get away with leaving. You need your husband's permission. I didn't know anything about that. Like, I've been here since I was 2, so I didn't know anything about the culture and the background or what you needed to do. I got stuck with this guy, got married within a week of being there. A week. I didn't get to know him, talked to him maybe for 5 minutes.
No, are you
And
serious?
5 minutes is,
Spoken for 5 minutes, you get married in a week?
yep, I got 5 minutes. Then it was just all, let's get her dressed, let's get her this, let's do their hairstyle, let's get everything done. And then I was just at the wedding looking at the guy next to me, and I'm like, this is my life now. This is what's gonna happen to me. Whew, was it, that was just so much anxiety in it. And then it was insane. We went to like our honeymoon, quote unquote. We went to a hotel, and I got pregnant right away. And I cried and cried and cried. And I was like, now what do I do? This was not part of the plan. I
So
always,
back in Jordan, still in Jordan, you guys
this
got
is in
married
Jordan.
in Jordan. You're
I
18
got,
years old. He's 28 years old,
yep,
right? He lives in Jordan, right?
yep,
Okay, and you guys got married there, right? Honeymoon, hotel, you get pregnant in Jordan.
correct. Correct. This all happened in Jordan, and me crying my eyes out over me ruining my life and my dream of just becoming a successful entrepreneur, or just becoming, I want to be a pediatrician, just being something there for other kids or other people, just giving back to the community. So, but my thing was, I didn't have parents that were there for me. I didn't have a mother or father that showed me any love or care or affection, or nobody ever told me I love you or how's your day even. So I had promised myself, if I ever had kids, that I would be there for them, that my life would be dedicated to making sure that they surpass everything that I didn't have, that I was there to give to them. So I told myself, you know what? You can learn to love. You can learn to love this person for this child, for this person, this unborn child that you're going to bring into this world. You can make it work. You could be as submissive as you need to be, but as long as this child is okay and you dedicate your life to this child and make sure both parents are there in their life, everything will work out. So I thought, and I tried. Oh, I tried, but this guy was very, very abusive, extremely abusive, and didn't have a care in the world. And we came out over here. I actually came back to the States to have my oldest, her name is Mona, so she could have her American citizenship. And then I ended up staying here for 6 months because his paperwork wasn't completed to bring him back over here. Once that all got situated, and I ended up having to go back over there to bring him back over here, he was so mad that he thought this was all a game. The first thing he see me in the airport, he punched me so hard that I felt like my jaw, still till now I have like jaw problems. But he punched me really hard and almost knocked my baby out of my hands. This is the first time he was going to see the baby, and it was scary to me. And I said, this is who I chose to spend my life with. This is me trying to make it work. So brought him back over here, still trying to make it work after 5 long years of abuse and trauma and all this stuff and putting up with a lot of shit. I decided to that I'm just gonna move on. And the kicker to that, what happened was I kept trying to do this for the children. I kept saying for the children's sake, for the children's sake. He would come home and the kids would hide in the closet. They would hide in the closet. Oh my God, dad's home, because he would abuse not just me, the kids as well. And that was to me the turning point where it's like, you know what? I'm traumatizing these children. I'm not helping them out. Like, I need to get out of this. So, and it's very, very difficult. I know that you say it's 2021, but it's very difficult with somebody that's from a third world country coming in here and having these different expectations of what life should be than what I've grown up with, being American, you know, a lot more Americanized than everything else. So I ended up having to do a restraining order against him and some of my family members because I was threatened to be killed if I get a divorce because it's shunned upon. It's a shame. You can't get divorced. Marriage is forever, and it's a burden on the family for somebody to be divorced. So I had to take that next initiative and go ahead and get divorced. And with all the threats and everything, I had to live in my car for about 2 weeks with my 2 girls because I was so scared that he was going to take them, he was going to kill them. He threatened to bury them in the backyard, make sure that I would never be happy. So it was a lot that I had to put up with the first marriage. And then called the cops on him twice. He was in and out of jail. He came back to try to attack us. I left again. He decided that he's just going to take everything we had, everything from electronics to gold to money, and jet the country. We had joint accounts, so he took the car, he took all the money in the bank accounts, everything that we had, and he left the country, went back to Jordan. For me, it was a relief.
Yeah.
All this other material stuff you could always replace.
Yeah.
But having that, it was just like my stress levels went from here all the way down. I was like, oh my God, I always wish that he would just disappear. I never want to wish ill will on anybody, as horrible as he was. And God just made him disappear. Then it was tough for me. I had a mortgage payment. I had 2 kids. I was alone. I didn't have a penny in my name. So I had to work 2 jobs, 20 hours a day, 2 10-hour shifts in warehouses to try to make up for all the debt that I owed, all the debt, all the credit cards that he maxed out, all the money he pulled out, and to pay everything off. I tried to get government assistance, and they're like, you make too much money, you can't get it. I was like, I can't even turn on the AC at the house. I don't even have $5 to buy medicine for my child. But I guess that's the way it works with the government. They see you make money, they don't know what you're paying it towards, then you're going to be okay. So it was a really, really tough road going that route.
Who was washing the kids during that time? I mean,
that was so
20,
crazy.
20 hours a day. I mean, 2 jobs.
Yeah. So this is I was sleep deprived, extremely sleep deprived. So in the mornings, my daughter used to go to school. She was in kindergarten. And then the other one used to stay at my friend's house as a babysitter. I'd come home. I'd work like really, really late nights. I'd come home, I'd change them, bathe them, take them to my other friend's house as a babysitter in order for me to sleep, because that one was a night job. It was like from 8 p.m. till 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And that one, I was like, okay, it's time for them to go to sleep. You're just going to sleep at this person's house. I come pick you up and wash you and dress you up, take you to school, and then go to my next job. So that way I just see them for that short period of time to change them and let them know that I'm here, and I take them somewhere else. So it was extremely sad, and it was so crazy because my daughter now, Mona, she just started high school, and she sent me this. She's all like, "Mom, remember when I was in kindergarten?" And she sent me, it said like the 5 senses, and something said feelings, and she had wrote, "I love my mom so much. I love my mom because she's alone and she tries so hard. I love her so much." I cried because it just reminded me of the pain that I had to not just inflict on myself, on her. as she seen me as a single mom struggling, and she knew she loves me, and she knew she goes through that I'm all alone, but I was still there for her. So that just gives me all that thrive to just like, you know what, this is why I do what I do, is because I've been there. I've been there, and I could resonate with other people that have like the same sort of story or something that they've went through adversity. You know, it's tough. It's tough being a single mom. Um, I ended up quitting one of my jobs once I was finished paying off most of the stuff, and I was like, okay, one full-time job. It was nights at Amazon, and I was all like, that way the kids are asleep, just have somebody there to just watch them while they're sleeping, and then I'm okay. It's not all about the money, it's more so family time.
How much, if you don't mind sharing, how much were you in debt during that time?
Ooh, I was in over like $25,000 in debt with not a penny in my name. And it was so sad because it took me those two jobs in order for me to pull through all of that debt and actually finally situate myself where it's like I could breathe and I could have a little bit of money to spend. I remember going to McDonald's. I had to turn off all the lights and we'd just keep the fan on in my room, and all three of us would just sleep in my room with the fan, and we'd go to McDonald's because they had AC, because I didn't have enough money to pay for the AC bill. We'd go to McDonald's where we could just cool off and just get them something from the dollar menu. And then that way they could just relax a little bit and enjoy, especially in the summer heat, just enjoy a little bit of AC, and not feel like they have to just stay at home in the dark with just the fan in mom's room. So yeah, so it took a while, and I was alone. I couldn't ask anybody for help. I couldn't do anything. I didn't want to burden anybody, and that's the person I am. I always feel if I ask, I'm burdening them. Although probably some people would have helped out if I really reached out, but I felt like this is something that I need to do. This is something that I put myself into, and I have to own it and and surpass that obstacle. So it's just, I guess, the way I was wired is like I was always alone as a kid. There was nobody there for me.
Yeah.
Growing up, this is who you are. You put yourself in the situation, you find a way out. So that's it was challenging, but it helped me grow as a person and become that a little bit more experienced in that phase where I'm able to share those stories and help other people that are going through same certain times or adversities that are similar or not even similar, things that go through life. So at this point, I ended up leaving one job, going to Amazon, met a guy, and I was completely done with, man. I had a horrible experience. But he just came in my life, and he kind of like he challenged me. And at the beginning when I met him, he was like a bully, and I can't stand bullies because I'm the anti-bully. Like I seen him, he was my boss's boss.
Was he like your superior, your manager or something?
Yeah, he was my boss's boss, and he was just standing there telling everybody what to do. And he looks at me and he's all like, yeah. And I said, excuse me, sir, you can't be bossing people around like that. You put yourself in their shoes. If you're going to do this and you're going to tell them that, how about you go ahead and do their job? And how about you go ahead and ask them, what can I do to help? Or what can I do to support you and guide you, instead of you just bossing people around and throwing out remarks. And he's like, do you know who I am? And I said, I don't care who you are. You're not God.
That's what he said. That's what he asked
Yeah.
you.
Do you know who I am? And I just looked at him and I said, I don't care who you are. I was like, I'm the best freaking worker here. What are you going to do? Fire me? The only person that I'm scared of is God. I was all like, apart from that, there's nobody here that's going to scare me. And he's all like, nobody talks to me like that. And to him, it was a turn on. To me, it's like, you need to get yourself straight, dude. Like, no, this is not okay. He started coming to my station every single day. And then one day I asked him, my daughter opened, I was half asleep, and she opened the door to, ironically, somebody selling security for home security. And I just hear her, and I thought I was dreaming. And then I ran over, and I was like, oh my God, imagine that, a 5-year-old opening a door to a stranger. You could have kidnapped her. So I went and was like, I need to go to Home Depot. I need to buy a security door. I don't have money for a security system, but I could buy a security door. So I went and bought it, and those things are heavy. And I'm like 110 pounds at this time. And I carried this 50, 60-pound security door, put it on top of my car, had somebody help me tie it down. And then I was like, and me, I do things for myself, never ask for help. Try to install it on my own. Not gonna happen. Like it's a two-man job.
Yeah.
And so he came over, he said something. I said, hey, question for you. Do you know anybody that can install a security door? I just need a reference, a referral, something of the sort. And he said, oh, that's me. That's what I do. I do a lot of side jobs. And I said, if this is your way of trying to get my number, it's not gonna work. Not gonna work. I just really need somebody. He's like, no, seriously. I was like, okay, this is a business transaction. Here's my number. Lose it afterwards, but I do need your help. He ended up coming over to my house, no tools, no nothing, and he didn't know how to install a security door. He doesn't know how to do any of that. But it was more so I got her. I know where she lives now. So he barged in and he's like, oh, you know what? This is a two-person thing. I didn't bring my tools. I drove an hour for, I was like, oh, no worries. I got the tools. We got this. And he's all like, oh. And he's all like, well, it's better to do. I was like, no, me and you, two people. We got, let's get this done. That's my job. You come here. Let's get this job done. And he's like, oh, let me call my friend. It's better for us to do it. I don't want you. You have your kids. And then I was like, okay, well, let's reschedule. I'm sorry for your time loss. You want me to get you something to drink for your time? I tried to go get him some water. He barges in, sits down with my two kids. And I was like, whoa, stranger danger. Like, whoa, this is too much. I don't like bring people into my house. And he was like, oh, and then Frozen had just came out. And he's like, I never watched this movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had to take him to the side. I was like, I'm so sorry for your that you came out here. And he's like, no, I really want to. I was like, but I don't do this. Like, you need to understand that's not me. Like, I don't just let any guy in my house and sit down with my kids and watch a movie. And he kind of he stayed for a little bit and then he left because he seen that I was very uncomfortable. And after that, he started coming every day, bringing roses, bringing food, bringing something for the kids, and he just kind of like grabbed my heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, you know what? This guy is way better than the last guy that I was with. He actually cares. And I could see possible future with him. I ended up getting pregnant again. Oh my gosh, I guess I didn't learn my lesson the first time. And 3 months into the relationship, I ended up getting pregnant. We ended up getting married 4 months in. Oh my goodness. And we're like, and originally we planned the wedding like a year later, and everything just planned out where they had all these cancellations, and we got this beautiful venue and everything at the Chandler Manor Castle. For like I would say less than a quarter of the price. And we're like, deal. Wedding of our dreams for a really cheap price. So we got married 4 months into the relationship. And once he lived with me, oh my goodness, everything turned. You get to see people's true colors.
You got comfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And same thing as before. I said, I can make this work. We're gonna make this work, and for the kids' sake. And you're still way better than the last guy. At least you're not abusive and all that stuff. So I was like, I could make it work. 5 years it took, and 3 kids later until I finalized that divorce. But I wanted to get a divorce really while I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I knew it wasn't the right guy. I knew it. And then that's when everything started coming into play, and I was hurt, and I would try to talk to him about it. And I told him we're falling out in love, and there was nothing that he cared to do about it. But I spent 5 years trying to make it work. 5 long years, and 3 kids later. And then getting into real estate. So I was actually a teacher.
Get a real estate, so
yeah, let's bring out the real estate.
So 5 kids.
5 kids.
Single mom. Obviously, like if I would be a single mom, let's say, or even single dad, for me, the stability of a job is very important, right? The consistency of income, right? Something that I know is going to be, coming in every week, every other week is important, right? So how were you able to kind of, essentially you had a really nice job, really good job at that time. Were you still with Amazon, or were you doing something else at that time?
No. So right after I met him, afterwards, I was like, you know what? This is it. This is the career I want a career.
Yeah.
I love kids. I want to be a pediatrician. That takes too long. I want to get into teaching.
Okay.
So I started going back to school, trying to get my degree in teaching. In the meantime, I was working for preschools, and then I ended up getting my degree. I was working actually for Head Start. I worked for GCC at the Head Start over there for quite some time, and then I became substitute teaching for all grade levels, in order to just get that extra income and still be able to be there for my kids. I it's with Zane. So I have 4 girls and my baby is a baby boy. When I was pregnant with him, I said, you know what? This is gonna be the 5th kid. Like, man, I can't see myself keep teaching because I'm giving so much more time to these other people's children than my own. I felt guilty as a mother. So guilty. I would take work home with me. My kids would want to play with me. And I was like, hold on, let me finish this page. I still need to grade these papers. I still need to do the lesson plans. And it was just so much time that was coming out, and it was free time. You don't get paid for all of that work.
Yeah.
And so I had to make that decision. I said, what can I do where I'm still making money, but I have that flexibility of time? So my brother and I, he's a year younger than me. He's all like, Shireen, I always wanted to venture into real estate. I love real estate. We both love real estate. I had a lot of different real estate experiences with different realtors, buying houses and getting qualified and stuff like that. And I said, man, if I had that job, I'd do it 10 times better than these agents. So I told him, I was like, we could be the power team. We could do this. And he's like, really? And I said, yeah, I'm going to take a crash course. So while I'm still working at the school, I took a 2-week crash course. Just had my baby boy, and he was 3 weeks old. I took him to the babysitter, and I'm breastfeeding. And I was like, I'm going to take these 2-week crash course, see where it goes with real estate, because I need to retain all this information. So it has to be fast. Took a 2-week crash course, took the test the first time. I failed. And I said, that's okay, because I only took the test just to see right after my last class. I took the test just to see what's on it. Took the second test, did a lot better, but I didn't pass it. Third time was a charm. I passed it with flying colors. I scheduled in the state and national exam. I know now they put it together. I did schedule the state and national exam the next morning, the first thing in the morning, so I could still have all that information in my head. I scheduled it the next morning and I passed it. And oh my gosh, that I had butterflies in my stomach. I wanted to throw up. I felt dizzy and nauseous. It was just so much that was going like riding on this. And I told myself, I got this. I got this. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to accomplish this goal. My ex at that time was my husband. He did not want me to get into real estate. He did not believe it. He looked at he looked at everything and he said, this is the reality of real estate. This is the percent of people that make it in real estate. Yeah. You're not going to be one of those. You're just going to be another one of those numbers. And I said, I'm that 1%. Yeah. And he said, you say that, but I don't know. And I said, I'm that 1%. I'm going to make it. Yeah. And he told me, I will not put this family at jeopardy. I will not support this because I'm not going to put any money into having you follow your dream when your dream is not reality. You need to get a reality check. That hurt. But all my life, everybody has told me, you can't. And for me, I have to prove them. Like it's something inside me just gives me all that extra grit to be like, nope, I'm going to make this happen. It's going to work. So that just gave me a lot more incentive to make it work.
Right.
So
how were you able to manage this though? Like at that time, I think you had 4 kids, right? 4 kids.
I had a brand new baby.
It's a brand new baby, 3 weeks old, still got a full-time job as a teacher, right? Family. How are you able to manage this? How are you able to actually, span and be like mentally there, mentally present, mentally focused, right? To go through the crash course, which is 2 to 3 weeks, and then take the exam and pass the exam in such a short period of time.
Right. And me, it's mind over matter. It's the way I'm wired. When I have a challenge in front of me, I have to just make it happen. I was all like and I was like, and it's more so balancing. I have to balance my family because my family is always first, especially my kids. My kids are always first. Anything that apart from that, I was like, and my thing is that my heart is I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this to better myself for my family, for their future, so I could be there for them. And that gives me all the motivation, all the incentive why I'm gonna make this work. So took that 2-week crash course, got my real estate license within 3 weeks. 3 weeks, had my license, and then I already knew it was so crazy. Right before I got my license, they had they kind of had a bunch of brokerages that were sitting there, kind of like a career day kind of thing. And all these brokerages were sitting there, and I went to 5, 6, 7 of them, and one stood out to me. It was West USA, and I was all like, you know what, I like, and it was more so the people. And I tell people everything is it's people business. It's all about people. If you want to succeed in anything, you have to have those people skills. And it was that one recruiter. She spoke out to me, and the way she held herself, I was like, this is where I want to be because of the recruiter. And then I looked at everything and I was like, this does make sense. I had another friend that went to school with me, and she went and talked to maybe 5, 10, 15 different agencies. And the last one was going to be West USA. She had one after that. And I was like, let's go to the West USA together, because that's the only one that I wanted to go to. And then she went with me. She goes, oh my gosh, I went to 11 other ones, and this one speaks out. And I said, I knew it from the minute that I seen that lady, that this is where I wanted to be. It just spoke to me. And then she goes, okay, I have one more to go to this. I was like, you could go there, but I'm going to sign up here. She goes, really? And I was like, you tell me, from the 11 that you went to, did any of those speak to you? And she said, no, it's not as good as this one. This one gives me better vibes. And I said, okay. So then you just did my homework for me. Thank you for making this so easy, my decision so easy. And so we ended up signing up together with West USA. And once I got in, oh my gosh, I was like, now what? Now
What? Now what?
Now what?
Now what?
I don't know what to do. Like I got a license now. How do I sell a home? How do I get people into a home? I didn't know anything about lead generation. I was never in the business field. I was a teaching field. Everybody loves teachers.
So
Now I was like,
when you got in, I mean, you were still working full time.
no. So I was working now part-time as a sub. So I was all like, I was working part-time as a sub, but then I told myself I'm going to dedicate my 100% to real estate. So right now it was
decision. You made that decision. You know what? I'm going to dedicate 100% of myself to real estate. So
right.
You made that transition pretty quickly.
And that's why I didn't have anybody else's support. Everybody's like, nope, there's no way. You have 5 kids, you need to help out with bills, you need to do this. How are you gonna juggle real estate? It takes money to get into real estate. And I said, I'll make it work. I didn't realize how much money was going to be coming out of my pocket at this point. I just knew. I said to myself, I'm going to make it work, so I have to make it work. So I started doing all my research. I started going to all these classes. I need to learn real estate. I need to embrace it. I need to know everything about real estate. So I took all the classes that I needed to take, continued education classes for real estate. I took them all. I think within a week, I took maybe 30 credit hours within a week, just so I could know, how do I write a contract? What do I need to know about this? What's the incentives? Marketing, cultivating databases, all this stuff. I took everything that I could find under the sun in order for me to just gain the knowledge. And then I read a bunch of books. I love to read. Love to read. So I started reading a bunch of books about real estate and how to capture the $1 million real estate agent and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, now I need to put this into play.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing open houses. What better way to meet people than open houses? Everybody told you have to look at your 100 contacts and cultivate the business from that, and try to retain everybody's information and see who wants to buy a house. I don't have anybody. It was just about me and my kids. I didn't have a single person that I could call and say, hey, do you want to sell your home or buy a home with me?
Yeah.
So I started from zero, not a single lead. And so I started doing open houses. I brought a little open house book. I started writing down names. I followed up. And follow up is key to all these agents out there. you have to follow up, and you put them on a drip campaign. I invested in a CRM, and I said, let's make this happen. So every day, and I've never been rejected more in my life, and I've been rejected a lot of times. Every day I'd call up these leads and tell them like, hey, thanks for coming to my open house. Oh, I got their address. Let me send them a thank you note. Let me call them again. Let me send them a voicemail. Let me just check in on them and see how they are. Get to know anything about their family so I could check up on their family, birth dates, anything, so I could show them that I care. And I started that route. And then I started before the open house.
Let's go back to the open houses, right?
Yeah.
Your open houses were a little bit unique, a little bit different. First of all, how many open houses were you doing a week?
Ooh,
right?
So I would do
right
3 a week. I would do Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the beginning.
Right. All right.
Every
And
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Were these your listings, or these are listings from your office?
Listings from my office. I had no listings whatsoever. And so I started, and my goal was, I have a goal. My goal was I need to make 6 figures my first year. And it was like, yeah, right. And I had so many agents with my own brokerage, other brokerages say you're not going to make it. Everybody was against me, not just my family. All these other agents were telling me you can't do it. And I was like, I'll make it work. I have to stay optimistic. I have to stay positive. So every day I would write sticky notes. These are my goals, and I put them on my mirror. My goal is to call 5 people, find 5 people to call. I have to go ahead and schedule an open house. I have to make up flyers for the open houses in advance. So the day before the open house, I would knock on 50 doors. 50 doors I would knock on, and I would invite at least 50, or leave that flyer in at 50 doors. Usually they say 5 left, right, and 5 across. I would do 50.
So every open house that you had, you would show up an hour to 2 hours early, set everything up inside, and then you would go outside and knock on at least 50 doors.
No, the day before I would.
Oh, the day before.
The day before. So if I had open house Saturday, I would make time an hour Friday to knock on 50 doors to invite everybody over to my open house and apologize in case that they have like an infringement or see cars that they're not used to, say, and I would invite them for refreshment. So I'd knock on the door and say, hey, I'm going to be hosting an open house tomorrow at this new listing. If you know anybody that could be a great neighbor for you, please let me know. Are you interested? And then ask for that business. Are you interested in buying or selling a house? A lot of them, oh my goodness, a lot of them would close the door on me. I had drinks thrown in my face. I was like, whoa.
You had drinks thrown in your face?
I had like a Diet Coke thrown in my face, ice and all, dripping. And I would walk away, and I'm like, I want to cry. How can I go to the next house right now looking like this? But I was like, you know what? I learned not to wear heels, and I always wear heels. I was like, take off these heels, wipe off your face. Your makeup could be smeared, but you know what? The next house that I went to, they seen how horrible I looked. They seen that my makeup was dripping or something. They seen how horrible. They said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm fine." As I'm trying to but you could hear my voice is hoarse because I was just crying, sucked up those tears, and went to the next door anyways. Did not give up. Did not say, you know what, I'm done. And I said, I still have about 15 flyers to pass out. I'm still going to complete this because I don't know if the next house would be a yes. So I carried on, and I knocked on that next door, and that next door said, "Oh my God, you are godsend." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "I told myself that I want to sell my house, but I would not sell it until somebody knocked on my door and asked for that. And if that was a calling, you're here and you're my calling. I want to sell my house." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Absolutely." I was like, "Okay." I was like, over here, I was like, oh my gosh, this worked out. Can I get your information? What's your phone number? What's your email address? I will send you comps. This is this. I was like, I had it in my head where I was going to say, if I got that one yes, and I said, oh my gosh, that Pepsi was well worth it. That Diet Coke, whatever they threw, well worth it, because I did not give up. And I tell every agent, you could get 100 no's for that one yes, but that one yes is well worth it. And a lot of agents, right when they were at their peak, right before they were going to advance and get that first sale, they give up. And that I just teach people, do not give up. If this is a dream you have, you don't know if that one extra second or one extra door that you knocked on would have been that one yes. So if I had those 50 flyers, no matter what happened, I'm gonna still pass out those 50 flyers. And
Yeah.
that I got that one yes, and I was ecstatic. Ecstatic. I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. And that became, I got 6 deals out of that one listing throughout, because I did open houses on it every single weekend. The next open house that I did a week later on that house, I got a listing 4 houses down from it. And then she said, oh, I hate this house. I bought this house. I hate it. I never bought any furniture for this house because I knew I was never going to live here. It was staged when she bought it. When she got into it, she didn't know how it looked like without being staged. And it was too late for her to change her mind. She couldn't get out. She was stuck in this house for 2 years, and she didn't even have a kitchen table. She just had her bed. And she goes, I want you to sell this house. So me being a brand new agent, like, let's paint this, let's do this, let's do this. I would roll up my sleeves and I would paint her walls for her and get it all ready for a listing. And so I got it. They're like, everybody's like, Shireen, this is unheard of for somebody brand new agent to get 2 listings on the same street, 4 houses down within 2 weeks. And they're like, you don't get used to this. And I said, you know why it's unheard of? Because agents don't do it. It's not because it's not possible or I just got lucky. It's because agents don't do it. So a few months back, I went to an open house and I had 4 clients that wanted to look at that open house. Right across the street, there was a guy pulling out weeds. And so I told him, I was like, oh, hey, here's my business card. If you're interested. He's like, oh my God, I want to list my house. He was directly right across the street from that house. And I sold his house within a week. And he's like, I was like, did you get anything from anybody else? He's all like, no, but I would thank you for reaching out. And he was just outside pulling weeds, ready to list his house within seconds. We listed his house within 2 days after I gave him my card. And it's things that agents don't do when they get listings, is become that neighborhood realtor. Is just, hey, get to know the neighbors. You don't know if the next door neighbor right next to them wants to sell their house as well, or if anybody around the neighborhood wanted to. So it's just things that agents don't do to kind of like just cultivate that business. I can't even say that they're scared. Maybe they just, I don't know.
Well, what is it? I mean, why is, and again, like you line up 10 agents, right? And 9 out of 10 will probably either be scared or they be overwhelmed or they would try it once or twice. And then they're like, this shit doesn't work. It's just not working, right? Like I tell my agents all the time, you got to give it at least 90 days. 90 days. It takes time. It takes repetitions, right? It will, there's going to be an adversity. There are going to be days when you're going to be questioning things. There are going to be days when you're going to be feeling discouraged and saying, yeah, this thing doesn't work, right? But you got to give it time. And a lot of us, like you said, we quit almost at the finish line. Quit. Right. So what do you think? Why is it like we got so many tools nowadays? I mean, you mentioned books. I mean, there are videos on YouTube, podcasts. I mean, there's so many people out there that are willing to share, right? Their experiences, their best practices, and the information in general. How come agents are still, for some reason, they're just not taking their business to the next level?
I honestly think that people, especially, they don't like rejection. People don't like rejection. Success requires patience and perseverance. And some people, they either don't have the patience, are not willing to do it. But mostly I think it's that rejection. People don't do well with rejection. They don't like to feel rejected because they feel like, hey, you know what? I'm worth more than this. This isn't worth it. I'm not going to get rejected or get yelled at or have somebody tell me no. When I already thought that it was going to be a no anyways. See, I told you it was going to be a no. There's no point in doing it.
So it's the fear of rejection and the fear of confrontation. Is that what you think? Yeah. And also, I think a big part of it is also maybe having too much pride and ego.
I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with it. But then other agents think that the agent already did it. They fear the competitiveness of the other agent, that they're like, oh man, this is their area. Like they had to have already talked to the other people around the neighborhood. They had to have. So what's the point of me doing it when they just did it? So it's they're thinking that it was already done. So why should I do it when somebody else just did it? They had to have already talked to the everybody in the neighborhood and told them about the open house or sent out a flyer or something of the sort. And then that's their fear. Like, I think that you're right. And it's more, I could see a lot of ego coming into play just because a lot of agents think that I'm too good for this. Like I'm gonna get the business anyways, or if somebody wanted to, they see my sign, they'll call me themselves. Like, why would I knock on the doors when obviously they see the sign right there with my name on it? They'll
Yeah.
call me if they were interested.
Yeah. 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 No, it's interesting. Like, like walk us through your first 6 months in the business. I mean, you mentioned about obviously putting together a plan. You said, look, I want to make $100,000, six figures, right, in the first 12 months. You were doing 2 to 3 open houses a week, not having your listings. You were borrowing somebody else's listings, right? You were knocking on the doors. But like, again, having 5 kids, single mom, like walk us, the first 5 or 6 months in this business, because I think they're the most difficult ones. I remember my first 5 or 6 months, there were days when I felt like quitting. There were days when I'm actually thinking getting a job because, my bills were piling up and I was like, holy shit, when am I going to get paid? I remember my
Right.
first commission check was, I believe, month number 5 or number 6. And I'm sure with you, I don't think you closed your first deal in the first month. Maybe you did. You're a superstar, but it usually takes weeks and months for get that traction going, getting your business off the ground, building that pipeline, and finally start seeing the results.
Right.
So kind of walk us through your first 5 or 6 months in real estate business.
Okay, so I obviously my first 2 weeks, it was nothing but knowledge. I needed to gain as much knowledge as I can. Then I had a friend reach out saying that they wanted to sell their house and buy a house. So I started showing them houses, got used to do the whole Supra opening houses and doing that. Then I started like, what can I do? I ordered thousands of business cards and I said the best way is to just get my name out there. So anytime I seen anybody at the store, I would park my car as far as I can and I'd walk one aisle and I'd put my business card on every single car. On my way back, I'd do the next line, I put my business card that I until I so that was what I did at the beginning. I meet somebody at Fry's like, hey, the whoever the gear is, like, here, if you know anybody interested in real estate, here's my card. Anybody that I seen, anybody that I talked to, I would give them my card. And I went that route at the beginning and I used to get a lot of phone calls. And then afterwards, I was like, you know what? The open houses, I started doing that. And then my first client was from one of the open houses. She said that she was looking for a rental. And I said, I'll take it. Rental it is. Let's find you a rental. And then I asked her, I was like, have you ever tried getting qualified for a home? She goes, oh yeah, no. She was like a 20, early 20s. She had 4 kids of her own, single mom as well. I was able to just be so compassionate. And I was like, let's try. So she ended up trying on her own. She couldn't do it. Tried with her mom. She got qualified. And after getting like rejected 4 times for a rental, she got qualified for a home. And I was like, let's make this happen. I was like, oh my God, somebody's actually qualified. I'm going to give them my 100% effort and all. So we went in, started searching, got her into a house. This is in 2.5 months in real estate. I got my first closing. And I was all like, yes, I did it. And at this point, I had over maybe 30, 40 leads from the open houses that I kept calling. And every single one, after a while, they started answering. They started responding. They said, I want to get qualified. And I said, ooh, this is good. I have 2 listings now. I got one person that's just closing. I have people that are getting qualified. I said, this is what real estate's supposed to be about. So I gave my all. And then my first, after month 4, I started having that consistency of 3 closings at least a month. And that was my goal. I was like, if I get 3 closings a month. And then my first year, I believe in August, I had 8 closings. And I was all like, yes. And then, and somebody asked me, how are you doing in real estate? And I said, oh my gosh, I'm doing amazing. I'm so blessed. I had 5 closings last month. I have 8 closings this month. They're like, you mean like 8 in the year? And I said, no, I have 8 closings this month. They're like, and you just got in real estate? And I said, yeah, is that not normal? And then they're like, well, I've been in real estate for like 10, 15 years and I don't even have that many closings in like a year.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't know that this isn't normal. And they're like, yeah, what are you doing? Then they started asking me, and I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just doing open houses and talking to people. Isn't that what people are supposed to do? And he's all like, but what do you do? And for me, I was like, I got my leads from open houses. I was like, I thought it was that simple. But I guess it's the way that I conducted the open houses. I knocked on those 50 doors the day before. I did the open house. After the open house, I would print out 50 of the MLS sheets. Anything left over, I would knock on the doors and I'd write a little note. Sorry, I missed you at this open house. Here's the information to this property. Let me know if you're interested. And that's what I would be writing while I'm waiting for clients or possible clients to come in. I'd write on those notes, sorry that I missed you. Let me know if you're interested in this property. Here's the information. And I'd leave the rest of those MLS sheets on all the houses around the neighborhood until I'm done. So I'd print out 50, and whatever was left over, whether it's all 50 or not, I would pass them around the neighborhood. And that's how I started getting people like, oh my God, you're the hardest working realtor. If I know anybody, I'm going to send them your way. Oh my gosh, you're doing another open house. You're doing another open house. People started opening the door and seeing my face and knowing who I am, because I would knock on their door every single week and leave them flyers every single week. And it was just that one neighborhood that got me so much business, so much business. People were coming in from left and right. And I got most of my business from that. It was the Canyon Trails area in Goodyear. And my first 2 listings there, and I got 8, 9 clients out of it from the open houses from the first, I would say 5 months. But it was all about, like you said, consistency. You want to be known as that neighborhood realtor. Yeah. And then even when that property got under contract, I would still conduct those open houses and tell them, hey, these are the houses that are around the neighborhood that are active too. Do you want me to show you these houses?
Yeah. So during that period of time, how much time were you dedicating to the real estate? Again, 5 kids, was it 5 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day? How many hours a week were you focusing strictly on selling real estate?
Well, the crazy thing of it is during weekdays, I would only dedicate 2 hours, and it was just more so calls. I would take 2 hours each day and make as many calls as I can within those 2 hours nonstop. I was like, if I dedicate 2 hours each day and I call 25 to 45 people a day, that's all I need in order to, and write up my notes, send them on the searches and get everything done. I would do that later on at night when the kids are asleep. So all I had to do is just take those 2 hours to dedicate to real estate, just to talk to people about phone calls. And then once the kids are asleep, so it would always be between 10 to 12 that I would make the phone calls. 10 to 12 is my calling time. Then it became as many calls as I can make. And then after that, I'd pick up the kids, make sure that they have their lunches, get everything done, pick them up from school. After school, I have a set routine for them. We come home, you go ahead and eat, we do homework, we read books, then bath time and bedtime. 8 o'clock, everybody was always out. By 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, really, 8 o'clock would be my time. 8 o'clock is when I go back and who do I need to put on a drip campaign? Who do I need to put? What notes did I write down that I need to put everybody on it? So I dedicate another 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So really it was 4 to 5 hours a day that I would dedicate to real estate on weekdays. And then on the weekends, it was just all about 3 hours for my open houses. And then once it became, I had all these clientele, it became, hey, you know what? Saturdays are dedicated to open houses and showing homes strictly. And then Fridays, do it right before the kids go to school, do as many showings as you can before school. Sunday, let's go ahead and dedicate Sunday mornings, right? People are go to church and right afterwards they want to look at homes. We'll do that. And that way I'm still balancing my family within that.
Yeah.
And that was my first year. It was just all about balancing that with my family, making sure that I'm dedicating time to real estate. Yet it was just still a lot of family time there where it didn't interrupt. So that way it gave me that flexibility that I needed.
Yeah. So you were super intentional with your time when you had the time available, when our kids are in school or in a kindergarten, 2 hours a day from 10 to 12, you're focused on following up and having as many conversations as possible. And then in the evenings after 8 o'clock, you were, following up, you were setting up your databases, your drip campaigns, your emails, and all of that. So that was about 4 to 5 hours a day, okay, and 3 to 4 hours a weekend, right? Saturday and Sunday. So altogether, I mean, realistically speaking, you're talking about 35, 40 hours, if that, per week.
Yeah, yeah. It originally started about 30 hours a week. And then when business picked up, it became a little bit more. Obviously, it was like, whoo, it became the whole weekend. I was like, Saturdays completely had to be booked for real estate, Sundays midday. And then that way we started alternating with the kids with their dad, where it's like, okay, how about we do a 5-2-2-5 schedule where I'm not busy Monday through Friday. I have the kids after school and I get them prepped for school. So it became during school hours I could do real estate and then dedicate my Saturday to real estate. Sunday, I have the kids. So that way I'm able to still have that off time, but dedicate some hours to real estate. And I bring my kids with me to showings at times. I was like, hey, you know what? Let me show you what mom does. This is what I'm doing during my times. This is what I'm doing to try to make sure that I'm taking care of you guys. So yeah, sometimes it interferes with the time block because some things are unpredictable. You have to work through your clientele schedules. So there are times where it does interfere. But now as I advance in real estate, I have a showing agent that's able to show houses for me when I need to be with the kids, or I have somebody else, one of my team members, go ahead and assist me with a showing or an open house and stuff like of the sort, when I didn't have that before, where it was just me dedicating my time and energy into real estate. And obviously the more you put into it, the more you're gonna get back.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about now. Let's talk about the present.
Okay.
Kind of share with us you're a team leader right now, right? You're a
Yes.
team leader. I believe My AZ Dream Home real estate team. Is that right?
It is actually Maze Group is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So my AZ Dream Home it's so funny because when I first got into real estate, I was like, I have to have a good pitch over what am I gonna do, and it was gonna be My AZ Dream Home
Yeah.
at Gmail. So that's my email address, and so I made everything under My AZ Dream Home. But then I was like, for my team name, everything I dedicate to my kids. So it's Maze, which is my 5 kids' initials: Mona, Anissa, Zara, Zane, and Inas. So that's I do Maze Group is my group name. And after all my kids, obviously, and it always just puts that perspective over, this is why you're doing this. This is what you're doing this for. Um, so when
What
I
made you
first
start your team, and what made you to start? I mean, there are some
okay,
agents out there that are like, what, I don't want to deal with the headache of having a team or managing agents and all of that stuff. I'm fine
right.
being a solo agent, and you did phenomenally well as a solo agent, closing 8, 9 homes a month. What made you to start forming and building a team?
So when I first got into real estate, everybody was talking about Zillow. Zillow. And I was like, shoot, I need to buy into Zillow. I didn't have that much money to buy into Zillow. I was in debt in real estate. I put myself in like $30,000 in debt. And I was like, whoa, open house signs, everything. I went all out. I was like, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna succeed. Um, but I got into Zillow and I was paying just for the Tolleson address, and it was $535 a month to get 1 to 3 leads a month. And I said, even if it's that one lead, that's all that matters. So I was paying $535 a month, barely getting any leads. And then it just took that one lead that closed on month, I believe 4 or 5. He was a first-time home buyer coming from out of state, and I actually got 3 referrals off of him. But he ended up buying that house, and I was like, man, one sale paid for the full year of that 535, so it's okay. It works. And then I started getting more Zillow leads. It just became like, oh my gosh, I was getting all these reviews. I was getting all these people that were saying that they want to work with me. My work with rate was way higher than other agents that were with teams and stuff like that. And so they started giving me exponential amount of leads. I was doing over 150 leads on my own. Constant, my phone would be ringing for Zillow, and I was like, oh, I this way. And then the Zillow calls me. They transitioned to a flex program about a year and a half ago. And they told me, they're like, Shireen, this is for top agents. These are for all the top producers that are closing all these deals. We want you to be part of this flex program where it's only for teams. So I went to this meeting. It was these high-end realtors. I was all like, oh my goodness, I don't think I belong here. Like, I'm this like newbie agent. And I was all like, oh, this is too much. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I can't do this. And then I told myself, I was like, you know what? They called you, Shereen, like, own it. You got this. So they told us about the whole program and how they just want to try to transition into just teams and Zillow, and they want us to grow our business. So I was like, you know what? It's money that you don't have in your pocket. So go ahead and take that bite. They're taking 30% off of each commission now versus the monthly. And I said, okay, zero of nothing is zero, right? So if you get something of something, it's better than not having anything at all. So I said, let's see where this goes. So I started getting all these leads, and then they're like, we need to grow your team. And I said, me? Oh my gosh, I don't even have time to grow a team. Like, how am I going to do this? They're like, we will help you. We will train your team. We will get your team on board. We will do all the education part of it. All you have to do is get us the team members. And I said, oh, simple enough. I was like, I got a lot of people, a lot of agents that love me and that would want to work with Zillow and help me out. I want them to take these leads off my back because it's just too much. It's overwhelming for me. So I started asking people, and they're like, yeah, heck yeah, we want leads. And I was like, we don't have to pay for them until we close? Deal. So I started getting agents that are coming on board on my team and helping me out. And then between me and them, they're like, Shireen, you have a 8 to 10% rate of closing rate. And usually a normal agent in Zillow, they're doing 5. They're halfway of where they're like, what are you doing different? Why is your score so high? And I said, follow up. Like, you take the call, you follow up. And I expect the same thing from my agents. You make that call, you follow up, you don't give up on these people, because every single client, every single person has a story, and you need to find out what their story is, what their motivation is, and you could win their business. But if you just call them as just a, hey, are you going to purchase a house? Yep. Obviously they're not going to want to work with you because they're talking to 10 other agents at the same time. So it's just being personable and talking to people in the right manner and figuring out what their why is. Why do you want to buy this house? And a lot of agents don't get that. I get calls of people that I met that just sold their house and they're getting a rental, and they're all like, hey, we want to buy a house. And I said, oh, you just sold your house a month ago? What happened to your agent? They're like, oh, well, I don't know. I was like, they never asked you what you're going to do next? And they never asked that question. And then now they're using me to buy a house when it could have been a two-way deal for this agent. Like, why don't you ask that why? What's your plan? What's your future? Why are you trying to do this? Yeah. So yeah, and I think that that's what it was. It started up my team, and I started getting agents coming in, and agents fluctuate, come in, come out. This is too much for me, too many leads. And I was like, man, for me, that would have been my dream to have somebody just shower me with leads. I was like, oh my gosh, I had to work my butt off, sweat, tears, getting stuff thrown at me in order to finally get some leads. And I was willing to take it all and have that grit to just continue on. And then I was all like, some of these agents come in here expecting I want 10, 15 leads a week, but I want them easy. I want them already qualified. Yeah. Real estate has never been easy, and it's not easy. And it's just letting agents know that as hard as it is, first off, don't give up, but don't expect it to just fall in your lap. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's me.
So how do you set those expectations, right? So like, you're providing them with these high quality leads, and I consider them high quality leads, right? And they have these, for some reason, fallacies, or again, these expectations that these leads are just going to be there waiting for them, and they're going to work with them, and they're all pre-qualified and they're ready to go shop, right? And that's not usually the case, right? So how do you set those expectations, and how do you manage those expectations when it comes to your team members within your group is like, hey, like, you know, you gotta work these leads, and if you're not working those leads, well, you know what, we're not going to be able to get those leads. Like, so how do you kind of manage that process with that?
We have a lot of mapping, a lot of stuff that a lot Zillow actually provides us with where you're at, where your top of funnel is, where your personal growth could be. So they give us all the data that we need to try to cultivate where the team is at, what leads we're getting, and how we're managing them. And then they tell us they have surveys from the clientele. They survey us after 24 hours, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days, and 60 days.
Yeah.
And they tell us how we did. So I use that as a database of putting in my agents over, this is the expectation that you have. This is where you're at your growth in comparison to other agents, in comparison to our team. So when I'm able to show them data that reflects, hey, this is where you're at, it kind of puts things in perspective. And then I'm able to tell them, like, these are my expectations. If you have those weekly meetings with your agents and you're able to talk to them in a manner of respect, and I have agents that come to me from other teams that they're like, man, they demean me, or they talk down to me, and they have all these expectations of me, but they don't explain it as well.
Yeah.
To me, as a teacher, my first job is to educate you. And if I'm not educating you, I'm not doing my job. So how could you be a team lead if you're not educating your agents over what you expect of them? And then in return, you get that from them because of the matter of respect that they have for you. So for me, I think that comes more natural to me to be able to set that bar of expectations and to explain to them what we need to do in order to get to the next level.
Interesting. So I see your stuff on Facebook, and I see you're constantly, I mean, speaking I mean, consistency, like you're like every day, sometimes twice or three times a day, you're Facebook
Right.
Live, you're inside of the house, you're touring the house, you're showcasing the house, you know, you're sharing all the features of the house, and you do this every single day. First of all,
Yep.
why did you decide to do this? You know, why so much frequency of that? And then, are you getting any business out of it?
Oh, that's a great question. So Facebook, why I started it is I started it at when the whole virus came into play. I had so much clientele that did not want to look at houses anymore because they were scared to go in anybody else's house, or they were scared of just being outside. So I was like, okay, how can I make this easier for you guys? So my thing is, I'm gonna just Facebook you. And I was like, and I started it because somebody said that they don't have a phone number. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook and they said, well, can you just send me a video through Facebook? And I said, how do I never knew I could just send a video through Facebook. I was like, how about I do a live and we could be friends? And I was like, I'll get them as a friend on Facebook. And on top of it, they'll see my live video and other people will see my live video. So that was how it started, just because of the virus and so many people. I wanted to see how I can reach out. And I used to do a lot of Facebook ads, a lot of money that was spent that I didn't get really quality leads out of. So I was like, a live video is free. And you put your face out there and they get to see your personality pop out. And it becomes this connection that you have with people, and they start thinking that they know you, like they're your friends. So I started the Facebook Live videos and I started doing it, and I started getting so much feedback, not just from clientele and new people. They're like, oh my gosh, keep doing this. I had agents from I just seen your Facebook Live video. Where's this address at? Can I share this video with my client? I said, absolutely. They're like, Shireen, you're a genius. Thank you for doing this. You're making our job easier. And I said, okay, cool. And then I started getting people from the stores coming to me. Oh my God, that's that girl. That's that realtor. That's Shereen Tawil with West USA. And I said, they're like mumbling. They're like, oh my God, we watch your videos all the time. And I said, oh my God, it works. I go to houses. They're like, oh my God. So with the realtor, they're like, that's Shereen Tawil with West USA. And the realtor's like, you must be doing something right if they know exactly who you are. And so I started continuing doing that. And I said, okay, this works. This works. And then I started getting people calling me and people emailing me and people starting to message me like, oh, I'm interested in this house. What do I need to do to get qualified? I'm a first-time home buyer. And I'm all like, well, this is the best way of gaining leads. And then other agents are like, hey, we're trying to tune into the Shireen show. They call it the Shireen show. They're like, it's the daily Shireen show. So it became this thing with even other agents are like, oh my God, it's Shereen Tawil with West USA. Come on now. It's Shereen. I was like,
Yeah.
that was like, I guess they're like, do something different. And I was like, I guess this is my signature now.
It is a
It
signature.
works.
It
And
works.
people were calling me.
Why fix it if it works? Number one. But I
Right.
guess my question is like, and we have these conversations with our agents as well. Like I tell my agents all the time, like your number one currency right now in 2021 and beyond is your brand, right? And we were given this gift of social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, right? YouTube, right? Where we constantly can share our brand and develop and build and promote our brand to all of our audience, right? Friends and non-friends. So, but for some reason, I'm always getting that reluctancy from the agents, or they do it once, they tried once, and they're just not comfortable, or this and that. How were you able to like before that? I don't think you were doing that many videos, correct? Like you were not doing like Facebook Live videos, like you know.
Right.
I mean, again, it's not comfortable to do a Facebook Live video. You're always asking, like, okay, what do I talk about? Where do I look? I mean, how do I look, right? You know, we got so much thinking and again, like feeling like, man, that pride, that ego, whatever you call it, right? And I tell my agents all the time, an average video is 10,000 times better than no video at all,
Right.
you know? But how are you able to overcome those challenges? Because we all got those challenges. We all have those struggles. We all have those doubts.
Absolutely. It's a lot of pressure. At the beginning, if you knew me, I would say 3 years, I was an introvert. You would never see me do a video. It was so scary for me to do a video or just go live and talk to other people that I don't even know, or just put my face out there. I was like, but I had to break that from the comfort zone when I got in real estate. And I said, you know what? I have to knock on these doors. I need to talk to these people, regardless of whether I know them or not. But when the Facebook started, when I started getting so much feedback from the people, they motivated me. Everybody motivated me. Oh my gosh, I'm watching your live videos. Oh my gosh, you're an inspiration. Oh my gosh. I had a lady, she's a great friend of mine now. Her name is Samantha. I was at Walmart and she was just staring at me. She was on the phone staring at me, and then she just stopped. And I was all like, oh my gosh, do I know this person? And she's all like, oh my goodness, you're an inspiration. She goes, your video. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to know who this is. And it made me feel bad. I was like, who are you? And she goes, your videos are such an inspiration. They motivated me to get into real estate. Oh my God, can I take a picture with you? And I felt like I was like, oh my gosh, you make me feel like that I have a paparazzi after me.
Oh, yeah.
So when I hear those stories, when I hear people talking to me or responding back to the videos, it just motivates me. I was like, you know what? Some people look forward to that. Some people, they're like, it's just so bubbly. If we could just put something on top of your head, it will say personable. It will say like approachable.
Yeah.
Like that's what we get from you, and we don't get that everywhere. We look forward to watching your videos. It gives us the motivation.
I agree, but that was the byproduct of you doing it and doing it and doing it over and over again, right? But the first week, the first 2 weeks, like not that many people knew you at that time, right? Nobody was stopping at Walmart, right? But like the first couple of weeks
Right.
of doing that, I mean, you know, what were you doing? Like, what were you thinking? How were you able to overcome those doubts? Like, am I really like doing this the right way? You know, am I really actually, like my videos are making any type of an impact or anything like that? I mean, what were you thinking during that period of time?
So obviously my thoughts weren't anything like that. My thoughts were, I'm going to post this video. I'm not going to watch it, because if I watch it, I'm going to go ahead and criticize myself over every single thing I said, or what I should have said, or how I should have held the camera. So I told myself, I'm doing this video for these clients. Do not care about what anybody else says. Do not even look back at it. Do not even mention it. Just tell them, watch the video, and that's it. And so for me, I had to overcome that fear of, what did I say? What didn't I say? What could have I said? By just letting it all go and just being me. And I tell people, just be who you are, and just be and that's it. I mean, I had one of my lenders, they're like, oh, Shireen, you move around so much, we get dizzy watching your videos. Here, I'm going to buy you a camera holder stand thing. And I was like, but I'm simple. I'm simple. I don't need all this fancy gadgets. I don't need this stuff. I don't want to come out of my car and then have to pull all this stuff and put my phone on. I was like, no, I'm just taking a video, simple video. And I'm taking this tour of the home. And I still, till this day, I never rewatch any of my videos. I'll answer the comments or anything, but I would never rewatch any of my videos, because then I would have those doubts. Then I would say, oh, I get what they're saying. Oh my gosh, look at what I did. Look at what I said. But then I started just getting so many different comments that were pleasant. And I got some very rude comments before, and some of them a little discouraging. But you know what? You have to look past that. In real estate, you have to have tough skin. So getting in this market, we have to know that there's you when you do something, you're taking it with the good and bad. But as long as you focus on the good, don't worry about any of the bad that comes with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not getting any negative comments, that means most likely your video was not impactful, it was not relevant. You're always going to be haters. You're always going to have people that are going to be doubting or making comments. I call them keyboard warriors. They're great behind the keyboards, but in person, they're just, they're nice. All right. So how much business are you getting from your live videos, from Facebook live videos?
Oh man, it fluctuates, but I would say I already had about 9 closings from my live videos. I have about like 4 to 5 under contract from my live videos. I had one person actually last week, I just did a listing appointment. He said, I love your live videos. This is why. He's like, I work with a bunch of realtors, but I want to work with you because I watch your live videos and I feel like I know you. And so that's in Sun City. So it's going to be an upcoming listing. But they just come to me out of nowhere, and they just tell me like, hey, I got one 2 months ago. She wanted me to list her house, and she was moving to California. And then that same week, somebody reached out to me from Facebook that was working with another agent and wanted to work with me, and she bought the house that I was listing. So it was a two-way deal. Within 2 weeks, I got the buyer and the seller through Facebook.
Amazing.
And so yeah, it's really crazy, but it works. And like you said, why fix something that works? Because people are watching. You don't know who's watching, but they're watching.
So how do you pick your houses? I mean, these are your listings primarily, or these are listings of other agents? I mean, these are listings that you're actually showing to your buyers, and you get there maybe 10-15 minutes before and do a quick tour.
So most of them are not my listings. Most of them are ones that I'm showing to my buyers. I never would waste time to just look at a house that wasn't for one of my buyers or potential buyers. One thing that I do that a lot of agents don't do, I do a lot of not just Facebook, I do Marco Polos, which is a app that I do, and I do take videos for my clientele. So a lot of them, like say Zillow leads that are interested in a house, but they can't do it. And I say, you know what, let me do the courtesy of doing this video for you. And then if you want to see it in person, because by the time you get off of work, maybe after you show it to your family, you don't want to see it anymore. Let me go ahead and take this video for you. You go ahead and look at it. Let me know if you want to schedule out another appointment to see it in person with your family. So it saves them time, my clients time, for me to have to do videos. And I would say about 40 to 50% of my clients end up buying a house. We put a contract on a house before I even meet them and get qualified. And then I meet them at the day of inspection.
Love it.
Is when I meet them because of my videos.
Unbelievable. Wow.
And that's most of my clientele, because they get to know me through messages, through phone calls, and through videos, that they end up entrusting me, and we do the whole process. There's so many of my inspectors like, how do you not meet these people? And I was all like, a lot of them, I'm getting a lot of out-of-state clients that are through Facebook and through Zillow, that all we do is videos. So for me, if I book out a 15-minute showing, 5 minutes for a Marco Polo personal video and 5 minutes for a Facebook video, then to lock up and turn on lights and everything, that 15 minutes got me both that Facebook video live for future clientele, and it got me that video for my client to see.
Yeah.
So that's why I started doing those. I was like, I'm already here. I'm doing 50% of the time, I'm doing videos anyways for my out-of-state clients, or clients that prospective clients, or people that I want them to be re-enticed into the real estate. You got those people that are qualified that want to sit around on it. Well, guess what? I'm going to do this video to put you back on the market, to let you know this is available and this is still within your price range. And they know that Shireen's working hard, driving around, showing us these houses that they want to go back into the market and purchase. Because we all have those clientele that are sitting ducks, that are qualified, that are not motivated. But this is how I remotivate them in by showing them houses that are within their price range in the area. And sometimes I send that same video to 5, 6, 7 clients. And I was like, oh, all these clients are like this area. Let me send them in and let them know that, hey, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm still interested in your business.
Love it. Love it. What advice would you give to an agent that wants to start kind of the same type of video format that you've been doing successfully? Facebook Live videos, touring the houses. What advice would you give them? Kind of like
just be you. Absolutely. Just be yourself. Be forthright and honest. I mean, people want to do business with people they like, trust, and know. So as long as you just put your personality out there, people are going to be drawn to that. So that's all I could say is it's a competitive market, definitely competitive, but it's not anything that nobody could do as long as they have that personality to do so.
Interesting. So what is the future for Shireen?
My future, oh my goodness. So
a year from now and 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Well, you know, I think I shared this with you is I want to grow my business. I want to grow my team in the future. Within 5 years from now, I want to be able to give all the leads just to my team, and me just be more so the voice and be there just to support and help them grow. And that way I just have that freedom with my family. I mean, I think personal freedom is the best goal that I have, best way that, because I want to be there for my kids fully all the time and just be able to support others through videos and through all that Marco Polos or Bomb videos. I do so many videos in so many different platforms that I'm still able to be there for people, be personable without actually being there. So I think having that freedom is my goal, as well as I want to grow a few businesses. I'm trying to open up a cleaning services business, home cleaning services, and moving company. So I actually embarked in the moving company business, and I opened one up with a friend. And then I told him, I was like, you know what? You go ahead and take it on. I can't. You go ahead and do it. And they're doing great. And I give them a lot of referrals over there. Actually, they're going to be moving one of my clients today. But that's what we ended up doing is, like, I guess, dip your hands in that water and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, there's always something else. So I'm doing that. I have a huge opportunity with the shutters business too. Somebody who's willing to help me with that. So it's just so many businesses that you could accumulate, so many things that you could do that have to do with real estate that you're already referring out, but it's just kind of just making sure that this works out and test those waters for you and your future.
Awesome. I mean, you're amazing. Your story is amazing. It's so inspirational on so many different levels. We're going to watch this. We're going to watch this again. And every agent should be watching this, because there's so much here, like on a personal level, on a business level. You're just an amazing individual, a remarkable story. And I'm so honored, to know you, get to know you, in doing this session with you. Before we go, I want to ask you, if, let's say, you were to write a book about your life, about yourself, about obviously the business, what would be the title? What would be the name of that book?
Oh, it would be purpose. Purpose, because oh my God, everybody has a purpose. And to just find that purpose and know your why would get you so far. And I had to embark on so many different obstacles, so much adversity, so much stuff that happened in my life so early on. My life has always been fast paced, that I do want to write a book over it, just to inspire people, just to let them know that it's going to be okay, that there's always going to be tomorrow, no matter how much rain falls and what big of a storm that you embark on. Tomorrow's going to be a new day and the sun's going to shine once more, and it's a new day, new beginning, new start. And just to remain positive, because I've been through so much stuff that I was there depressed in the lowest state where I didn't even want to live anymore, where I didn't know how to get out or what to do or who to go to. And something just to carry on, Shireen. And it was just me, my consciousness just said, keep going. Things will get better. Things will get better. But some people don't have that. They don't have that mentality that pushes them to just keep going, and they do give up. And I tell every realtor out there, don't ever give up. If this is your dream, if this is what you want to do, there's nobody that's going to stop you from pursuing it. Nobody that's going to stop you from achieving it except yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Beautifully said. Unbelievable. Wow. If agents want to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you? Is it your IG account, your Facebook account, your email, or phone number?
Phone number is best. I get bombarded with phone calls, but if you text me, I always respond to every single text message. Emails, I always respond back to them. It won't be as fast as a text message. Yeah. Instagram or Facebook account, anytime anybody wants to reach out to me, I always respond back to Facebook too. But the fastest way, just text me, 623-455-1804. Just text me and I'll definitely answer. I always tell agents I'm also a mentor and a coach for West USA. So I mentor new agents and coach them into getting into the next step. And I do it just because I want everybody to succeed. Like, I don't care what firm, what brokerage, where you guys are at. If you guys even just want just to talk to me, like, I will make that time to talk to you and support you and guide you into that next step that you want to do. I mean, whether it's real estate or not, like, I'm always a listening ear.
Love it. Love it. Anything I should have asked you that I didn't? I know we've been doing this.
I think you covered it all. It's been a minute, right?
It's been a minute. It's an hour and a half. Well, listen, I very much, again, appreciate your time. I know you're super busy. You got a lot of stuff going on, but hopefully we can do it again. Hopefully we can revisit our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again,
you're the best. Really, really appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye.